Green Cincinnati Education Advocacy. Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you for inviting me this evening to talk about green building and sustainability in Cincinnati, and thank you for CancerFree Kids for as the beneficiary of the fundraising this evening. I just wanted to give a presentation about green building in the region. You might not know that we're a hotbed of green building and sustainability in the United States, and I was going to tell that story. It all started back in 2005 when there was a bond issue to rebuild the schools in Cincinnati, and the architects involved introduced leadership in environmental and energy design to the Cincinnati School Board, and they adopted that for the Cincinnati Public Schools. My participation in it started, I was a marketing communications firm, and I wanted to help market green building materials. So I got involved with the local U.S. Green Building Council chapter and learned about green buildings. The multi-billion-dollar effort to rebuild all 30 different Cincinnati schools to green building standards. Now, you might ask, well, what is a green building standard? Well, basically, it's more daylight, natural daylight in the schools. It's been found that students learn better when there's natural daylighting in the schools, and also better air quality. You know, back in the 70s, when there was an energy crisis, there was a trend to seal up the buildings. And that's bad because it just concentrated the carbon dioxide and concentrated the pollutants that were in the carpet. So green buildings have more air supply, and they also don't allow carcinogenic adhesives and paint and volatile organic compounds in the schools. So that's why the school board adopted it, and then went on to passing legislation in the state of Ohio that all buildings that are used education funds need to be built to green building standards. Now, the green building standards were originated by the U.S. Green Building Council in the late 1990s, and it's a voluntary organization. It's a non-governmental agency. It's a consensus-based standard for building a building that is, there's 5 categories. It's the site, try to build a building within a city, use an existing building, try to save and conserve water, try to conserve energy and more energy efficient HVAC systems. It encourages regional materials, recycled materials, rapidly renewable materials, and indoor air quality. So that was the initial push in Cincinnati. The second thing that happened was the city of Cincinnati and Mayor Mallory wanted to encourage green homes in Cincinnati. And the president of the U.S. Green Building Council suggested that they just adopt the U.S. Green Building Council's standard for green building because the city wouldn't have to administer it. So somebody builds a green home, they just have to show their certificate that that their building has been certified. They're going to get a tax abatement. They gave them a tax abatement of an additional 5 years. Typically in the city of Cincinnati, if you build a home, you get a tax abatement for 10 years. Well, they added on another 5 years. Now, why did they do that? They did that because it encourages building in the city of Cincinnati versus right outside the city of Cincinnati. And it also encourages the young professionals, the people that kind of get this movement, you know, sustainability movement. Those are the high income earners, and obviously the city of Cincinnati is going to gain more from their income tax. So that was instigated in the 2006, and we have more green homes per capita than anywhere else in the country except for Washington, D.C., where, because it's a government kind of town, and nonprofits typically build to green building standards to show a responsibility to their constituents. And that's the same way with educational institutions like the University of Cincinnati. All their buildings are green. The United Way here in Cincinnati is a green building. The Red Cross is a green building here in Cincinnati. See, these institutions that are nonprofits show to their fundraiser, the people that donate money, that we are spending your money wisely. And that's you know, a big part of why I got in this industry, because I feel it's the new economy. I mean, it's kind of going back to your great-grandparents, where they were a lot more conservative. In Cincinnati, they say, you know, we harvested everything except the squeal from the pigs, but it's a growing industry. The building materials, the advanced HVAC systems, the architects, the mechanical engineers, and the final thing that has happened in the city of Cincinnati is that recently Lori Quinlivan, the council person in Cincinnati, brought legislation to raise the bar in Cincinnati for green buildings. So you just couldn't be certified to get the full tax abatement for a green home. You need to be, there's 4 levels. There's certified, there's silver, there's gold, and then there's platinum. So as you go up the ladder, you get more of your structure that you get a tax abatement on. So we're looking forward to that, having more advanced, more progressive green homes in the city of Cincinnati in the future. And really, we're competing with the coast, you know. This is a lot more popular in California. It's a lot more knowledgeable on the East Coast and Chicago. But Cincinnati has a lot to be proud of. We have this, we're the only city in the United States that has its tax abatement. Sycamore Township just instigated it. And so that's part of this presentation, is to educate other communities in the country about the advantages of giving tax abatements for green buildings, sustainable building. You'll increase your tax base. You'll have a better buildings that are more efficient, that are ready for the future. Laurie Quinlivan and I and Michael Survey, the Community Development Director of the City of Cincinnati, are going to make this presentation in Chicago, September 9th, to a regional conference, Greening the Heartland. And this is kind of a trial run for it. So, any questions?
I have a question. So if you wanted to participate in having a building be green, I know you come up with the marketing, but what architectural materials, who is it that locally that's behind this effort? What's the name of the company?
Well, I would direct you, and the question was, if I want to build a green home, where do I go in the city of Cincinnati? Well, I would go to the local chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council. It's usgbc-cincinnati.org, and there you can see green homes and examples of green buildings. And of course, you can contact me. Here's some flyers on my company, Green Cincinnati Education Advocacy.
And that's a green building?
Yes, this is the Christian Moorline Logger House. It's the just got certified. It's the first building by the Cincinnati Park Board.
That's cool. And I can tell the Red Cross because of the glass, you know, the way they have that. Yeah.
It's a beautiful building. Yes?
You're involved in marketing. Are you working like with Moorline, or, you know, how does your marketing play into the green stuff for you?
Well, the question is, how does my marketing play into the green stuff? Well, it started out, I wanted to get involved with this, and you really have to understand an industry to market it properly. My first job was doing marketing for Fernald, you know, the uranium foundry that was the largest Superfund site in the United States. They've cleared everything out, and all they have left is a museum and a little office, and it's LEED platinum, and they wanted me to write some educational material. So I did that for them, but I've gone on to do educational material for Gilkey windows. They offer the highest efficiency windows in the world. And I also work for steel companies to teach people what does recycled steel mean. And also work with Reading Rock. I taught all their salespeople to pass the green accredited professional exam. So that's the type of marketing and educational work that I've been doing. Any other questions? Uh-huh. Please?
You have an existing
Uh-huh.
and, the geothermal is a great way to go, but it's extremely costly.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. Well, the question is, what about existing homes? And particularly about geothermal, they're so expensive. Well, it just so happens my brother lives in Clifton in an old home built in 1900, and he wants to redo his HVAC. And I said, Tom, you need to look into geothermal because there's still that government funding money that'll pay for 30% of that. So a geothermal system might be $25,000. Well, already they're going to take $8,000 off of it right away. Now you're down to $18,000, and you'll be using less money. You would have paid, $12,000 for a new HVAC system anyway. But you could probably recoup the additional money you spent within 4 or 5 years. So there's still a great 30% tax abatement on solar panels and geothermal. And finally, I'd like to wrap up that the Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance does audits of homes. And they do this through in Claremont County and Hamilton County and Kenton County. But I would recommend that you look them up, Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance. They do a blower door test. They find out how leaky your house is. They'll make recommendations for insulation. A lot of people don't realize that drafty homes are 30% of the waste of the energy in your house. So you really need to caulk around the windows, put a hat on your house, caulk around the attic, and put your pants on, caulk in the basement of the house, and your house will be a lot warmer. So, but those are the best things to do for an existing home. Please? Well, they have some tax incentive money. It's a discount, but I think you pay about $400 for a $600 assessment. But it's very important that you get an independent third party, because now you're armed with some ammunition. You know what you're talking about. Somebody's not selling you his HVAC system, because it's important that you seal your home, that you seal your ducts. No, go ahead. Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance. Any other questions? Well, great. Well, thank you very much.
Wonderful to hear about.
Thank you, Eric. Great job.
Thanks, John. Round of applause for Chuck Rohr. Thank you, Chuck, for your tutelage. And unfortunately, it's not the best place to present, but
Oh, it's wonderful.
people that heard
Wonderful.
it, they liked it and enjoyed it.
Well, thank you very much. It was
Thanks
great.
for coming out.
I got a trial run on my.
Enjoyed it. Yeah.
That's right. My presentation.
Is it working right now?
I hope so.
Are we on?
Well,
We're on TV. We're on TV. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
So
Thank
much.
you.
I'm going to take one of yours.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, 14 minutes. It worked.